11 straight wins. Asar Thompson is a menace. Cade Cunningham is clutch. And this Pistons team is the best ball club in the East. We'll talk about their win over the Atlanta Hawks in just a moment. Welcome back to the Pistons Jack YouTube channel. On today's episode, we are recapping the Pistons' big time win in Atlanta, 120 to 112. Their 13th win of the season, 11th in a row. And after some conversation online about the Pistons not beating anyone, they're just beating down on bad teams, everyone they play has no injuries, which we know isn't true. If you watch the Pistons, you've seen how many players they've been without in the last 4 to 5 games in particular. But tonight, they get Cade Cunningham back, they get Asar Thompson back, and they play an Atlanta Hawks team that coming into the evening was 9-5. They won 5 in a row, 7-2 without Trae Young. Now the Hawks were without, I think Porzingis was one key player, and potentially someone else alongside Trae Young. But as we all know, the Pistons are still without Tobias. They're still without Ivy. They're still without Sasser. But, this Hawks team is a good basketball team. And it was in Atlanta, and the Pistons on a back-to-back, by the way, came in and did this. And they started this game off hot. Duncan Robinson had 2 early threes. Dannis Jenkins had an early 3. The Pistons, for much of the first half, were teetering between like a 13 to 19 point lead. But the Hawks, as to be expected, they punched back. They got the lead down to around 10 in the third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, this game got all the way down to 1 point. And to be honest, I tweeted out, I'm really enjoying this because I want to see the Pistons tested. I want to see them against another good team in their conference really get pushed to the brink and see how this resiliency stacks up that we've seen them really build in this winning streak. And they responded just as we know this team will respond, with just clamping down defensively. Assar Thompson came off the bench tonight. And before people lose it, Dannis Jenkins, I believe, just got the start again tonight alongside Cade because he's been absolutely hooping in the past 4 games. And I think it was a matter of, let's reward Dannis. He's pretty much averaging 20 points in his last 4. And let's just bring Assar off the bench. I assumed Assar might have had a minutes restriction or something like that, but he played 24 minutes. But this was a 1-point ball game. And Assar Thompson just absolutely turned it up. He had... I think he finished the game with 3 blocks, but he was inside the head of Jalen Johnson. He was causing chaos. He had weak side blocks. He finished with 3 blocks, 1 steal. He had 6 points. Numbers like scoring wise that won't blow you away, but there was a point there where he was just wrecking the Hawks. And he was a big reason that lead went from 1 point and it went out to 6 within like a matter of like a minute. And the Pistons never really looked back from there. And Assar was just crucial. He kind of struggled in the first half. He looked a bit out of rhythm, which is to be expected. But then, like I said, in that fourth quarter, particularly in that last 6 to 7 minutes when the Hawks were really pushing and making their run to win the game, essentially, Assar, alongside the rest of the team, stood up and he just made plays. He had an excellent dunk in transition. I think in the fourth quarter, he stole the inbounds, had a layup. I think he'll get the belt. Plenty of contributors tonight, but I wanted to start with him because when this game was close and they needed someone to step up because Cade was off the floor, I feel like he made plays defensively. And Dannis Jenkins as well. He finished the game with 14 points, 7 assists to 1 turnover in 30 minutes, a +8. 6 to 10 from the field. This guy is just... I'm so impressed with his ability to get his own. And the playmaking I love. He's a true playmaking guard too. He's probably slightly more score first, but and I say that in a complimentary way. He can just get a bucket. He's so athletic, got such a good first step, and he's not afraid to use his left hand to dribble, his offhand, drive left, drive right. Some of the finishes this guy has is just, it's incredible. And I think he won't be starting for much longer as the team gets healthier, but he's absolutely a part of the rotation, no matter what the status of the rest of the roster is health-wise. Like, this guy is just incredible. 14 points, 6 or 10, 7 assists, 1 turnover, always good for a steal or two. And just he had a key steal and transition bucket. I think that was to put them up by 3. Just can't speak enough about him and the contributions he's made. Cade Cunningham came in, closed the deal for this team tonight. He finished with 25 points, 10 assists, 3 turnovers, 6 rebounds, 10 of 23 from the field. It was one of those nights where the refs just do not want to reward him for any of his physicality driving to the rim, but they'll reward any other player that drives in and gets any sort of contact. Whereas Cade, when he's going into the paint, their free throws have even gotten better, but the entire night, and I credit Dyson Daniels for this, but I also think the officials are missing the amount of times he puts his hand on Cade's back, he grabs him on drives, he swipes his wrist on drives. How he did not get free throws on that last drive to the rim where driving downhill, Dyson slaps him on the arm before he gathers. Cade gathers 1-2, and then Onyeka Okongwu, I think that's how you pronounce it, who played an awesome game himself. There's contact between him and Cade in the restricted area, no free throws. Countless times where I thought Cade should got free throws, but he fights through it. He made a huge shot to put the Pistons up by, I want to say, 6, where he made like his patented step back midi, or turnaround midi, I should say, over Dyson Daniels. And look, Dyson Daniels does a good job on Cade, but he didn't turn it over too much. And you'll take that game tonight from him, especially if he's not getting any love from the refs. This is easily a 30-point game from him if he gets the free throws he deserves. But first game back after missing pretty much a week now, huge positive from Cade. And there was points in that first half where he was just manipulating the Atlanta Hawks defense with where he looked, using like head fakes, like looking in one direction, tossing it over to Chaz Lanier, who knocked down some threes. Really good game from Cade, especially first one back against a pretty good opponent in the Hawks, who defensively have really ramped it up lately. Where do we want to go next? Maybe, I just mentioned him, Chaz Lanier in the first half came in, knocked down 3 triples in the second quarter, and he's just a pro. Like, a pro's pro. Like, he's 24 years old, he's coming in, he's just making shots. He missed some in the third when you probably would have liked him to make one from the corner just to sort of, is when the Hawks were making a run, but 3 of 7 from deep. You can't ask much more from a rookie. He's doing what you drafted him to do, and I wanted to shout him out for his second quarter performance. I think I'll go to Jalen Duren, and I want to talk about him and Isaiah Stewart together. I'm going to start with them and their 8 of 8 free throws in the clutch in this game. The Pistons, they pretty much had this game put away, and these probably won't show up as clutch free throws because it was like a 6-7 point game. Might have got down to 5 at one point when they were taking these free throws. But for those two to knock down all 8 free throws, Jalen Duren had 6 of them, when the Hawks were just, I can't pronounce his name. This is bad of me, but it's Vit. I can't pronounce his name. I'm really sorry, but he made like 2 crazy threes at the end to just keep this game, like to give them a pulse, the Hawks, and they fouled JD and Stu on each of those after those makes, and they went and just knocked down all 8. And that's such a huge development, not just because they're making key free throws, but to have them on the floor in clutch time and be able to trust they're going to knock them down is just huge. And like I said, tweeted it out during yesterday's game, like just brings a smile to my face that you can have those two on the floor and be extremely effective with the Pistons, because last year we barely saw them ever play together. And those two have such good chemistry that just off the court and on the court, that it's awesome to see them be able to play together and thrive and help win the game for Pistons. So we look at Jalen Duren's game. He started excellent. He was getting whatever he wanted in the paint. He finished with 24 points, only 8 rebounds, but he only played the 29 minutes, which is a little bit down from what he's used to, but started this game hot. He was just backing down Okongwu into the paint, putting him under the basket and either finishing with a hook shot or dunking it. He kind of went. I feel like the Hawks in the third quarter really game planned for him and really took away the deep post ups that Cade had been feeding him on. But in the fourth, I thought he was solid. You can just see how important it is overall when Cade's getting doubled like the Hawks did all night, and he's able just to throw it to JD. He absorbs the double, throws it to JD, who's around the free throw line, and JD either you have the trust in him now to take his man off the dribble for two dribbles and a finish, or he'll get free throws, or either make a pass, or you can just trust him. JD will either take it from there and go into a handoff with Duncan. Like, just having him as this secondary hub when teams are doubling Cade is huge. And he had 3 assists tonight. A monster block on Dyson Daniels down the stretch, which was a great job not to foul him there, and just absolutely monstered him. You've probably seen it on Piston socials, but I wouldn't say this was his best game. And Okongwu certainly, after getting dominated in the first quarter and a half, he punched back and he was testing JD because Okongwu was knocking down threes, and he got JD a couple of times with rebounds, and that kind of thing with his boxing out. Even if Okongwu didn't get the rebound, just his activity kind of caught JD off guard a couple of times. He even, like, Okongwu got Stu a few times. So it was a good battle. And I think JD ends up winning it. But yeah, I think it was nice to see JD get tested with an opponent, because since probably the first game against Vooch, he's pretty much just dominated whoever's in his path. Oh, and the Rockets game, he got ejected. So nice to see him start the battle winning. Then it got away from it, but then come back, make defensive plays. Had a beautiful drive off the bounce and knocked down all those free throws. So another good game for him, and something he'll continue to build upon. I think that pretty much covers it. It was just a really fun back and forth game, and it was nice to see them challenged. Even though the Pistons gave up like a 20-5 run in the fourth and it was shaky there, I just wanted to see how they went in a game like this, because the odds were kind of not stacked against them, but like I said, second night of a back-to-back. They weren't necessarily getting the calls sometimes with Cade. The Hawks are a really good team. I don't want to take anything away from them. Like, they have a really nice foundation there with the athletic, rangy wings, and the Pistons withstood their big punch in the fourth, and Cade closed the deal. Assar made plays. Dannis Jenkins made plays. And once again, it was just the young guys leading this team. And, I mean, to be now 13-2, win 11 in a row, and beat a team like Atlanta, wire to wire, by the way. This wasn't like the Hawks never took the lead at all. It's impressive. It's impressive. Even if the Hawks are missing a player or two, I think it's a really impressive win, and something we as fans should continue to be so excited about. And they'll now get, I think it's 3 days rest before they play the Bucks. So, yeah, this team, you know, the likes of B-Ball Paul, Javonte Green, Ron Holland, I thought each of them had moments tonight. B-Ball Paul only played 9 minutes. But I thought Ron played within himself, even if the box score doesn't look crazy. And Javonte just did Javonte things. So enjoy the win, Pistons fans. We'll be back with videos this week, and obviously Pistons Worldwide on Friday night. Although there is no games, we have some news to recap, which I've been holding for tomorrow's episode. So excited for that. But appreciate you watching as always. But until tomorrow, go Pistons.